Notnerd Podcast, episode 226. Just mute it.
Welcome to the Notnerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Well, hello there, sir. I have enjoyed seeing your beautiful face on my tiny screen as we continue to tele-podcast. Is that the term? So yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. What is the phrase? We listen to a podcast where the guy says, good generic time of the day to you. It just drives me crazy. But anyway, how have things been this week? Have you survived?
I have survived. It is, it's weird out there, man. I will tell you that. But I've been very, very busy working, helping my clients out navigate this time. Yeah.
I noticed that there are more people on the roads. I had to come into work today, and I'm just like, this is like a typical Tuesday afternoon. There seemed to be a larger proportion of trucks to car ratio because the trucks haven't stopped going, but still a lot of people out and about. I think people are just stir crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Especially with the sun shining, which is nice.
Yes. That doesn't happen often here in Oregon.
Yes. Well, some follow-up. I feel personally that one of the benefits of what is currently going on is the fact that April Fool's was pretty much canceled this year. Google usually does all their funny things, and I saw very few things this year. I think it's kind of played out, and so maybe this finally killed it once and for all. But as with many momentous occasions, they seem to come and go while we're focused on other things right now. The only one I saw was some school-related ones of fake news articles, or the fact that Washington State was going to close down all alcohol sales forever or something like that. But not too much April Fool's, so I'm glad about that. Personally, Zoom is all over the place. The first one, this was a couple weeks ago, there was a company that they called a bunch of people together for a Zoom meeting. They were all excited, thought it was going to be a rah-rah of we're going to get through this, and they all got laid off, which you don't have many options for laying people off, but needless to say, people weren't excited about that, but everything's happening via Zoom right now.
That's pretty crappy. I wish I could go back in time and buy stock in Zoom.
Yes, true. Yeah, I think the numbers, the next story I was going to talk about, they released a message to their users, and they have been, like every other story that isn't directly COVID-19 related this week was about Zoom security issues. But they said in this letter from, I believe, their president or CEO that as of the end of December last year, the maximum number of daily meeting participants, both free and paid, conducted on Zoom was approximately 10 million. In March this year, we reached more than 200 million daily meeting participants, both free and paid. So they went from 10 million in December to 200 million daily participants in March. So obviously that is an insane growth for anything, anywhere.
What's the math on that? What's the percentage growth?
That
at least
is
the times.
2,200%. You're asking me a lot. 200% would be 20 million, so 2,000% growth in a few months.
Yowza. That is crazy.
But they have said with all these security stories coming out, a lot of people not wanting to use them for fear of these security issues, that they have stopped all development of new features, and they are focusing solely right now on security and getting all of these things updated. So it's pretty interesting. I don't necessarily want to get into all the different security flaws. I'm still using it. I'm not doing anything completely confidential or anything that I need to worry about. I haven't had any issues yet.
Now, while I appreciate them taking the time to stop doing new features and to focus on privacy and security, they should never stop focusing on privacy and security. That should always be the forefront all the time. So while I appreciate it, it's like, come on, you should have never taken your eye off the ball.
Yeah, especially trying to be such an enterprise and business-focused platform that, that should have been taken care of a long time ago. So they apologized. Agreed. I think they'll fix it. Now, capitalizing on all those issues, Microsoft, with their Skype product that we've also talked about, they have now created it where you can join video meetings with no sign-up. Previously, you had to have a Skype account, do all this stuff. So they have kind of opened it wide up, much like Zoom, where you can just join video meetings without signing up. And they are working to hold up to this increased demand as well. As I know, Google Meet or Hangouts, whichever it's called for you, is doing the same. So there is, a 2,000% dance instructors are doing dance lesson, teachers, physical,
everybody.
Yeah, gym trainers, everybody is adapting to this new world of remote work and
celebrities,
yes, these
on-air personalities,
concerts, Adam Carolla's podcast, they're doing it via Zoom right now, and bringing in guests via Zoom and doing all this, and it's pretty hilarious.
Talking to a new friend who goes to NAB every year with their product. They don't know. Are we going to get refunded? They paid thousands of dollars for a booth. Is the conference going to happen? Can you do it virtually? Like, how would you even do that? So who knows? Maybe we'll have virtual trade shows in the future.
Yes, and some of them are happening that way, so it continues to change daily. An interesting story, one of our favorites, Comcast, and I actually got a text message from a friend of the show, Jared, the other day, and he's like, my data cap or my data usage hasn't gone up at all this month from Comcast, and I've been working from home for 2 weeks. Well, Comcast has waived their 1 terabyte monthly data caps, and they announced that it is not hurting their network at all, which has a lot of people saying, then why do you have the data caps in the first place?
Big surprise.
Yes.
Yeah. It's for money, if in case you wanted to read the last page of the book. Money.
Yes, which is why I'm no longer with Comcast, because I did not like that. This is a big story, one that had been a big problem for many people. Amazon Prime Video now allows in-app transactions on iOS and Apple TV. So previously you weren't able to do rentals or buy movies through the iOS app or on your Apple TV through Amazon Prime Video. You had to go to the website and then buy it, and then it would show up. Well, now Apple and Amazon have worked something out here, and I'm guessing we'll probably see more of this. We've seen better and better integrate. The Amazon Video app, it wasn't even on Apple TV for quite a while, was it? I think they finally brought that over, and
it took them a long time to get that partnership worked out so that they could actually put their app on that platform.
Yeah.
So I'm all for this. I remember back in the good old days, before all these new policies and stuff, is that you could go into like your Comixology comic book app. It would show all the comics, and you would click purchase, and it would just do it right there. And then Amazon bought them, and you had to go to Amazon's website to buy the things and then download it. The same thing with movies and videos. It would be so easy just to see your catalog right there on your phone and click purchase, but no, there's this whole process you have to follow. So they've kind of gone away from that and integrated it internally, and I think it's going to result in way more sales and rentals of products just because it's more convenient and nobody has to figure out the process.
Yeah, and just a note on it, the behavior for making these purchases seems to be that if you have a credit card on file with Amazon, it bills through Amazon, and if you don't, you can just make the purchases through Apple's in-app purchases through your wallet, basically. So any credit cards you have stored in your device. So
maybe the compromise was if this payment method is used, it goes to Amazon. If this payment method is used, Apple gets 30% of their in-app purchase. So maybe they just compromised to make it easier for everybody.
Yes. Our next story, we were hoping, I'm going to check Apple's website right now. We were hoping we're recording a day later than usual because we thought Apple might be announcing some new products today. There was a bunch of evidence last week of that they would be announcing both the iPhone SE, a new lower cost iPhone, and then also there's been some evidence that the AirTags are coming, similar to the Tile or the Tracker devices that we've talked about several times. And I thought maybe today would be the day, but still nothing from Apple. So who knows what's going on there? But those, by the time you listen to this, we might have new products, which we will talk about next week when we actually know what they are. And you know what else we always like to talk about? Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Nate, I really appreciate you, because I was racking my brain thinking what would be a very relevant tip of the week for this week. And you delivered, my friend. You said, let's talk about how to mute and unmute your microphone during a Zoom call or a Google Meets call or Skype or whatever you're doing. How do I do this? Typically, you would take your mouse and you would go up to the little screen and click the microphone button on and off. We'll get that in a second. But let's talk about good meeting protocol or hygiene. Maybe it's not called hygiene, but good meeting manners. Etiquette was the word that I was looking for. So let's say you're in a video conference with 10 other people. If everyone's microphones are turned on, you're going to hear the leaf blower guy outside. You're going to hear the kid crying in the other room, the dog barking at the front door from 3 different people, and it can be distracting and annoying. So the preferred method is everyone should mute their microphones if they're not talking. And then when it comes time to talk, they should unmute the microphone, speak their piece, and then mute the microphone again. Well, some people may not do this because, as I illustrated, it's kind of a pain to get your mouse and you hover over the little button and you click it, and it's, where did the button go? In the case of Hangouts Meet, the button disappears and you have to wiggle your mouse around to get the mouse. I hate that type of stuff. So I'm going to tell you an easy way to do this stuff. If you do happen to be using Hangouts Meet, and a lot of people in the corporate environment or education or government do because they're using Google tools, you can easily mute and unmute your microphone by either pressing your command if you're on a Mac or your control if you're on a PC. They're congruent with one another. And then the letter D. So on a Mac, Command D will toggle the mic on and off, and on a PC, Control D will toggle the mic on and off. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, a lot of people are using Zoom to do video conferencing these days because it's the new hotness, like we talked about earlier. Well, same thing applies. If you're on a computer, if you're on a Mac computer, you can hold Shift, Command, and then the letter A. Yes, they've added another button that you have to press. So Shift, Command, and A will toggle it on and off on a Mac. And on a PC, it's much simpler. You just hold Alt and A. And so you click Alt, tap A, and you can toggle it on and off. Now, for you doing these type of connections on mobile, I will say I'm very sorry. You will have to press the button on your screen to toggle the microphone on and off, unless you're using some type of external headset that has a mute button on the cable or cord, or a wireless headset that may have a mute button built in. Otherwise, you're going to have to touch your screen to turn the mute on and off. But let's all practice great meeting etiquette and save everybody's ears and help the moderator be more clear in the message by muting our mics.
I like it and strongly agree, since it was my idea to discuss that. Obviously, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of them have been doing their special working from home episodes, and that was one of the things that had come up a couple times, and it's a great reminder to just do it. Well, our takes of the week, our favorite, or your favorite, Dave, Facebook. They have actually added a great new feature for businesses. They have added gift card discovery tools. That's one thing that a lot of people have recommended, is buying gift cards for your local businesses if they're closed or if you just want to support them. And so they have added an easy way that if you have a business page on Facebook, that you could add in a gift card that people can purchase. So it's a very nice little option. If you want to support a business, go buy a gift card for them.
Yeah, I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with gift cards because there are billions with a B.
Yes.
Billions of dollars of unclaimed money that is put on gift cards that have either been lost or given to someone who never uses them or whatever. But this is a good way during this time to support businesses. But ultimately, gift cards are usually not a great idea.
But it's even better this way. If you buy a gift card and then forget to use it, they just get that money and they don't have to give you anything for it. So you're extra supporting.
Yeah.
So there is that option. But if you do have a business and that would make sense to get that set up, we have a link in the show notes that gives you some more information on that.
Very cool.
Yes, and with many things, this next one should not be shocking to anybody. The record jobless claims are overwhelming states' tech, which is mostly aging. Yes, I saw a meme today of a very popular adult service in their server room with just servers as far as the eye can see, and then the second half of the picture was my state's unemployment department, and it was like one old PC sitting on the ground. But yes, with record jobless claims, much like Zoom, it's putting a huge pressure on them, and so the states are trying to keep up. So if you are claiming unemployment, your results may vary.
Yeah, I cringe when I think of all the Windows XP computers from 25 years ago running all the state's infrastructure. We can find money for all kinds of things, but we can't ever find money for education or infrastructure.
Yes. Our next story, there's actually a couple different services that are doing this. Google, I think I saw today that Facebook is releasing some information, and there's one other data collection service, but what they're doing is community mobility reports. So they are showing how much people are traveling right now. Now, it isn't completely accurate as far as if the stay-at-home stuff's working or not, but you can download these reports. They have PDF reports, and you can see how much movement has changed. And then with Google, they have retail and recreation, grocery and pharmacy. So I'm looking at Oregon here, and from February to the end of March, grocery and pharmacy is down 25%. Retail and recreation is down 50%. Now, this is probably even more pronounced now if this report was updated more recently, but just trying to give some idea. Transit stations down 47%. So subway, bus, and train stations. We do not have a subway here. And workplaces was down 38%. So there's some interesting data being gathered here, trying to check and make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to. Of course, some of the data, not necessarily this one, it even breaks down to the county on these reports, but Google has so much data on this stuff that they can
I think this is fascinating.
Yeah,
this is really neat to look at.
And they have every country in the world, and Sherman County, which I did not know was a county in Oregon, does not have enough data for this, for most of the things. And the only one they have data for is transit stations. And yes, I am using data and data as often as possible, switching between the two because I like them both. Transit stations is down 37%. I don't know. I doubt they have a subway or even a bus there, but it's very interesting data. Facebook's working on some stuff too, and I forget the name of the other company, but we know that Google has a lot of data, and so they can put this stuff together and see how everybody's doing on staying at home.
Yeah. Hey, quick sidestep on the data. I always say data because data is someone's father. Data is numbers and figures.
I like that. That
there
makes
you go.
sense. Now, this is an interesting one, and I'm not sure of the use case. I know that not all of our listeners use Macs like we wish they would. Some of you are using PCs, and some of those are probably Dell because they have a huge market share. I have nothing wrong with Dell computers in the Windows world. I usually do HP stuff for my clients, but I do Dells as well. They have a Mobile Connect app, and this was available for Android before, but now it is also updated for iOS, where you can control your phone on your computer. You basically mirror your phone onto your computer. Now, why you would need this, I don't know. I guess if you wanted to lay your phone down somewhere else and be able to keep an eye on different things. But pretty interesting that Dell would allow this with iOS, or Apple would allow Dell to do this. But I think it has to do with some of the screen recording features that were introduced a year or two ago.
Yeah, I don't think Apple can do anything about it. As long as the user gives permission for screen recording, they should be able to grab that thing and show it on your screen. I think that there are some use cases for this that might be good. As you mentioned, maybe you're remote monitoring something with the camera on the phone. It's like a baby cam or something like that. Yeah. You could have it on your computer. Let's say you have a cool weather app that's showing up-to-date statistics and precipitation and all these things that you just don't have on your computer. And so there might be a cool app that serves as some type of a window into data or into the world that's just not available or easily accessible on your computer through the web or through an application, and you just want to monitor it. So that I can see that. Now, I don't think that you can use your mouse or anything to access the screen of your phone. Is that correct? Can you work with it at all?
Yes. So version 3 of the iOS app lets you control your phone using your PC's keyboard and mouse, and you can also drag and drop photo and video files to transfer them between the two devices. So
even better.
Yeah.
I would totally use this.
Yeah.
Like maybe I have Bejeweled on there and I want to play Bejeweled from my desktop,
Yes.
While I'm supposed to be working. I don't know.
Exactly.
I can see a lot of use cases for this.
Yeah. The file transfer stuff is nice. Obviously, when you're in the Apple world, you have AirDrop, but being able to have some of that functionality, if you take a picture with your phone, you want to get it over to your PC easily. So yeah, if any of you have now it's only for Dell laptops from 2018 or later. So any of you have a recently purchased Dell laptop, give it a try and let us know how it works. And if you have an iPhone, obviously.
Right. And if I get a PC, dude, I'm getting a Dell.
Yes. Oh, our last take of the week. This one of... Hey, shocking, some people are outraged. Apple has purchased hyperlocal weather app, Dark Sky. Now, I know we've talked about Dark Sky. It's a very good weather app on iOS, and it was
I think it was Android. A pick of the week for me a while back.
Probably. Is it currently the weather app that you prefer?
It is. It's the one that I use every single day.
So Apple has purchased them. They've announced that they are shutting down the Dark Sky app. One of the other things that really has a lot of people irked is they had an API where other weather apps could use the Dark Sky data. And a lot of people really like that data because it is hyperlocal and there's just a lot of good information there. So it'll be interesting to see what Apple does with this. Hopefully they will make their weather app equal or better than Dark Sky with this, by buying this company.
One thing I've noticed over the years that have gotten super good, and it's almost creepy, but it all has to do with data, is the hyperlocal weather. It'll say, hey, it's going to rain in Sherwood in 15 minutes. And sure enough, a cloud comes in, it rains, and it'll say rain will be ending in 15 minutes, and then it'll go away. And it just boggles the mind. It's not 100% accurate, but it's really, for stuff that's going to happen within a half hour of now, it's really accurate. And the same thing with transit. On my iPhone, I'm using Apple Maps now, but Google Maps and all the rest work practically as good as Apple Maps does, in that I can say I'm leaving work and it'll say you will be home at 5:27, and when I roll onto my street, the clock turns to 5:27. Yeah. It is astounding how accurate the weather, hyperlocal weather, and the transit apps have been. I just wanted to point that out, that those two areas have really delivered on the promise of what they should be.
Yes, I would agree, and it will just continue to get better, hopefully. Our security and privacy story of the week, this is just kind of a general warning or a heads up to everybody that there are a lot of well, not, I was going to say stupid, smart cyber criminals that are taking advantage of COVID-19, and this is coming in many forms with phishing emails or, fake cures or all these different things. So just a good reminder to keep your eye out for stuff that just doesn't look right. Make sure you're going to, the real SBS government or SBA government websites, because people are trying to get money out of you or get your computer infected, and so we need to be hyper vigilant with everything else going on. Also for these scammers that are trying to take advantage of this situation. So I've got an article from Trend Micro, which is a big tech company, just talking about a bunch of different things that they are seeing, fake domains that are being set up about COVID-19. And as with everything, the security professionals are trying to stay ahead of this stuff and get stuff shut down. But there's going to be a lot of this stuff going on, especially while the government is going to be sending us money. There's going to be a lot of confusion there. So don't get tricked and don't get taken for your money when it might be a little thinner than it usually is.
Just remember, the U.S. government and any type of law enforcement, they will never call you asking you for something. They're not going to email you. They're going to send you a certified letter from those departments through the U.S. mail. So don't fall for any of these scams. If the IRS says that they're calling you or trying to get a hold of you, just ignore it. That is not how they connect.
No. Bonus odd take of the week. I can't remember if I brought this up previously on the podcast, but if you have not seen Some Good News with John Krasinski of Office and Jack Ryan fame, the actor, he has started a YouTube channel called Some Good News. The first episode, he had a great interview with Steve Carell, or they were talking back and forth. He covers a bunch of good news stories. He did another episode. I won't spoil it for you, but they had a major Zoom surprise. You've probably seen it all over social media and everywhere, but if you have not, just a nice little thing, and we all love John Krasinski, so check that out. I've got a link in the show notes, and put a little smile on your face, bring a little tear to your eye. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I just heard about this for the first time last night. My wife was talking about it.
Yeah.
She'd seen it on Facebook, and I was like, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it is well worth the watch. I think he has 2 episodes now, as he's calling them, but it's just a very fun, low production, at home, little 10, 15-minute videos that are very enjoyable, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think one of the side effects of this COVID crisis is that a lot of people are going to find that they have been empowered to connect with their audiences directly, and they don't have to go through, publishers or studios or whatever. They can just connect right with their audience, and it's going to cut a lot of this red tape we find between celebrities, actors, musicians, and their audiences. And so I think that's going to be a great side effect.
Yes, I have an old friend on Facebook that he is a musician, and he's been going live every night and just puts his Venmo and his Cash App information on there, and people can tip him. And the other night he was on for like 4 hours just singing songs and having a good time. And so we're seeing innovation continuously throughout this, which is great. You know what else is great? Our picks of the week.
Now, one thing I've been doing, and Nate, you haven't seen my latest setup at home. I've been building out my Studio West, and not from just an audio kind of studio, but to a video studio.
Yeah.
And so to do so, and to do it properly, and this is with all video, one of the largest components to quality is the quality of light.
Yes.
If you do not have enough light for your camera sensor, it's going to look like garbage. And so I picked up on Amazon a couple weeks ago the LED floodlight, RGB color changing, 100 watt equivalent outdoor, 15 watt Bluetooth, smart floodlight RGB app control, IP66 waterproof, timing, 2700K and 16 million color, 20 modes for garden stage lights, 2-pack.
Yes.
Lights. Wait, maybe I should say that again. No. So to describe this, because the title does not help you, these are, they kind of look like professional lights that you might mount on a rack or something for a studio. They've got a little bar that comes off of them that tilts, and the head tilts back and forth. They're quite small. I would say they're about 4 inches by 6 inches big. And these particular ones can be controlled via a smartphone app. You can get cheaper ones that have a little remote control to run them, but they're relatively inexpensive. You can adjust them, point them. They don't get hot. The ones that I have a series of RGB LEDs, but they also have just white LEDs. And so if you want to use them as like work lights or outside your house so that you're like shining on a flagpole or something, they're just bright white regular LEDs. But if you want to add some color, some flare, you can turn on the color options. I think they're great. Now, I don't know if you are interested in guessing the price or not, but I can tell you this is a 2-pack of these lights.
Yes, I'm trying to remember because I think you sent me a link when you purchased them, and I'm trying to remember. I want to say they were $29.99.
That is very close. They the 2-pack of these lights right now, and the price goes up and down all the time, are $33.99. So for $34, you can get 2 of these lights. And so that's a really good deal. They're a little over at $16-17 a piece. And I think they're worth it. They work really great. What I have is a backdrop, and I have one light on one side and one light on the other side. And I usually have like a magenta and a blue light shining on either side onto the backdrop and onto some props. And then I sit in front of it with white lights on me, and then I have my camera. And just with a couple $30 lights, you can make your setup look really professional.
Nice.
And I'm actually going to buy 2 more of them.
Wow.
For my white lights that are going to be in front of me. And I thought, why not? I want to be able to have versatile lights. If I want to change colors on those or use them for another purpose later on, I'm going to get the ones that are color capable because they're not that much more expensive than just plain white ones. So anyway, we have a link in the show notes. They're pretty cool, and they're IP66 waterproof, so you can use them outside.
Yeah, I like that. And they are actually available on Amazon. Free delivery Saturday if you order the day we're recording, which you wouldn't. But that's something you have to check on Amazon is when you're actually going to get something, because some things are way out.
Yeah, and if you don't like this particular model, brand, whatever, in the suggested options, there's like 1 million that are, some are completely identical just from a different vendor, and others are slightly different. So you can go through and pick the ones that work well for you.
Nice. Well, my pick of the week this week actually also comes from Amazon, and this is something I bought last fall. I used it a little bit, and I wasn't using it. Now I'm trying to use it more as we're all at home more and not able to get out. This is the Drive Medical Deluxe Folding Exercise Peddler with electronic display, black model number RTL 10273. Dave, any idea what this is based on that description?
A peddler? Is this a stationary bike? What is going on?
It is a stationary bike, but it is just the part that sits on the floor. So it doesn't quite work with my desk and my long legs, but you could literally put it under your desk. I'll send you an image now so that you can take a look at it.
So like you sit in a chair to use the thing?
Yeah. You sit in a chair, so it's just on the floor. It folds up, but then it expands out, and it gets up off the air just enough that you can have, and there's a little resistance knob, and it counts how many pedals you've done. So I'm trying, if I have, if I'm waiting for something to export or if I'm rebooting my computer, I'll just sit there for 5 minutes, do some pedaling just to get moving while I'm still at my desk.
This is very interesting. So it's like an arch with pedals at the very top. There's no chain. There's nothing crazy.
No.
And the resistance knob looks just to be a physical brake that presses up against the pedals.
Very low-tech product here.
Yeah, super low tech. It does look like it has an RPM and a lap counter or something on the screen, so you can see how far you've gone. Wow. This device, I'm going to say this device costs, I'm going to say this is a $35 device.
Well, you would be close. It is $31.99. It is available free delivery by Saturday.
Wow.
Now, I was looking at these. I had seen one a long, long time ago, and I was like, you know what? I should get something so I can keep my legs moving a little bit while I'm at my desk. And you can spend whatever you want on these things. I mean, there's ones that are hundreds of dollars. This was one of the most reasonable. That's kind of my Amazon theory, is start with a cheap one that looks decent. If that's not good, return it and get a better one. But this fits my needs perfectly. I'm not doing the Tour de France anytime soon. I just need something to get my blood flowing a little bit every once in a while. So as we're trying to adjust, like we've been talking about all episode, if you need something to kind of just, while you're watching TV or sitting around the house, you need to get a little exercise, this would be a good way to do it.
That's pretty cool. Now, how many people have tried standing up on this thing and falling over and killing themselves? I'm curious why they actually included stirrups on the pedals. It doesn't seem like it'd be necessary, especially if you're standing on it and fall over.
Well, yes, I do not stand. No standees, as the school bus used to say. But it does just help kind of keep your feet in there to give some lifting as well. I think maybe if you're doing a harder intensity, that you kind of get in the workout on both sides if you can lift with the foot.
And so your foot doesn't slip off, probably.
Yes, keep your foot in place. But yeah, it's a cool little thing, and check it out if you think that might be something that you would use, and I need to use mine more. Our Ramazon purchase of the week also comes from Amazon, surprisingly enough, because that's what it is. You guys shop through our Amazon affiliate links. We get a little kickback, and I get a lot of enjoyment looking through the anonymized reports. Now, Dave, this one could have been you. I know you enjoy your coffee, as do I. I usually go for the cheapest thing at the store. But somebody recently purchased a 1-pound bag of Death Wish Coffee Company ground coffee. Now, I have heard of Death Wish before. I've heard some podcasters talk about how it's the best. And on the bag, it does say, the world's strongest ground coffee.
I thought you were going to say on the bag, it did say the world's best. Yeah. So you got to believe that. That's interesting. This was not me. I did not purchase this. And as I'm looking at the picture you sent me, it is a bag with a skull and crossbones icon on there. That's a little scary. So the whole shtick of this stuff is that it's the strongest flavor. How are they obtaining this?
Yes.
Power.
From further down in the Amazon listing, awaken your inner rebel. Through our unique blend of Arabica and Robusta beans and our slow roasting process, we naturally produce coffee with double the strength than your average cup of coffee. There are no additives or additional caffeine added throughout making the blend, only organic, fair trade coffee beans. So they've kind of created this brand around it that if, you're hardcore, you drink Death Wish.
I personally do not buy their claims.
Yes.
But it sounds interesting. I am a coffee drinker. And for those of you who are snobs out there are going to really kind of hate what I do, but I got a Keurig and I get the Kirkland little cheaper,
pods.
I don't even know what they're called, the bold pod things. And they're really good.
Yeah.
They taste really good. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's kind of lame, but man, it's so convenient.
Yes, and I will tell you that the Death Wish coffee, this product, has a 4.5-star review on 22,655 ratings. So
you can't fake that many ratings.
No, it is. This is some serious stuff here. So, Dave, what would you think you would pay for some pound of the world's strongest ground coffee?
Now it is ground. I would say if these people were really serious, they would get whole bean and grind
You would think
on
so.
their bird grinder at home. But if you have to have ground, I suppose that's okay. You actually get more in the package, so that's actually very smart to get pre-ground.
Yes.
I'm going to say this thing is $18.99 for this pound of coffee.
Oof. Well, if you did subscribe and save, it would be $18.96. But just for a one-time purchase, we are looking at $19.96. So
I was close.
For a pound, that's more than you're going to pay for your average bag at the grocery store. I know some grocery stores do carry this. I have seen it before. But yeah,
Starbucks would be probably in the 16 to 18 range.
Yes. So I did look down here. They do have the whole bean option. They do pods as well. They've got many different products. But the Death Wish coffee, if that was you, let us know. Is it the world's strongest ground coffee? I have a feeling maybe it was Jared. This feels like a Jared purchase, but we will see on that. And with that, I think we are going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please tell a friend, have them listen, and stay home and tech better.
Wouldn't it be funny if we both did our double ender and only one of the things worked?
No, just have a one-sided podcast.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful.
Just edit out all the gaps.
And it was just your track, so it's like 30% of the audio, and then you just cut it down to that, so it's like a 5-minute podcast.
Yeah. That'd be beautiful.